reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Till they're counting days until the second blow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around without a doubt beyond. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Till they're counting days until the second blow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Till they're counting days until the second blow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Around without a doubt beyond is all you need to do. this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? To the counting days until the second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV and welcome back to another Good Morning Tottenham, and time to preview yet another game that's going to be called off tomorrow.
The eternal quest to see Tottenham play. Is it ever going to happen again?
Literally,
no one knows.
All I want is to see Tottenham play. That's all I want. Is that so much to ask? Is it so much to
15 games, like never moving. It's like, oh, we got this game in hand. Someone made a joke like, end of the season, the table's going to look like Man City have won the Premier League in asterisks unless Man City, less Tottenham win all 17 games in hand.
Oh, God. Anyway.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to preview the Liverpool game, obviously, and then we're going to go on to the callers as well and get you guys on to have your say on the game this weekend.
I want maybe just people's opinions on what should happen. You know, should we take a break from football? Should the Premier League be stopping, seeing as games are getting postponed left, right and centre and at last minute as well? And also want to get people's opinions on a question I put out yesterday in terms of is it better to have less points on the board but have points on the board, or to have the 3 games in hand? Because there's a bit of some people think it might be better to
how many games on the board, though. How many points on the board? That's what it depends on.
Of course, but we're 4 points behind Arsenal right now with 3 games in hand.
So you're saying 4 points or 3 games in hand?
Yeah.
3 games in hand.
Depends what the games are.
Well, the games are Brighton, Burnley and
yeah, but you got to
Leicester.
remember we're squeezing them in, so we might have to play 2 games in a week or something, you know.
Well, we'll have to, if we're out the Conference League, if we go out the Conference League, it's not going to be a problem. If we're in the Conference League, that's when it becomes a massive problem.
But we've got all these games. If Premier League gets stopped, then it becomes a serious problem. Because
if the Premier League gets stopped, they're going to have to extend the season.
Yeah, I guess. But then still, it's going to be very difficult to fit all those games in. Because we've got 3 extra games, remember?
Yeah.
So it's going to be very difficult to fit all those in.
Why?
Depends how long they extend the season. Why?
Yeah.
Because they can't extend the season indefinitely. And if the Premier League...
I'm not talking about extending the season indefinitely, but why is it going to be so hard to fit these 3 games in?
Because there's a lot of games and there's not much time.
Yeah, but
especially if we're in League Cup, we're in FA Cup.
If we're out the Conference League, then all those Thursday night games are free now.
Yeah, but that's later in the season.
It's February.
Yeah.
I mean, why can't they play it then? And again, we've already said there's 2 spots in January, so that's 2 games gone.
Well, if we are in the Conference League?
Yeah, that's when it becomes a big problem.
We might be.
But if we're not in it, then it's not an issue at all, really. It's not that much of an issue. If we are in the Conference League, then the Conference League has to be the under-23s have to use that competition, unfortunately, and we'll have to concentrate on the league. But in terms of I don't think it's as big of a problem as you're saying it is.
I think it can be later in the season. Depends how many more games. I'm saying if the Premier League gets cancelled for 2 weeks or whatever, then it becomes a very big issue, I think. I think it is. But if it doesn't, if we carry on as it is, then I agree. But I think the Premier League gets cancelled becomes much more of an issue because it depends how much they delay the season by, how much time they have. They might not decide to delay the season. So I think it can be quite a big issue at fitting all these games in, and it could be a bit of a stretch. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. But let's move on to the game this weekend. Tottenham against Liverpool at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We've never beaten them there.
No.
They've come there twice, I think it is now, and they've won twice. They've given us a torrid time of late. But to be fair to Spurs, actually, we've actually been giving them not bad games over the past couple of years, haven't we?
Well, last season I think we were well beaten. The season before that,
Last season, when we went there with Jose Mourinho to Anfield, we played quite well.
it was at Anfield. No, it's at home.
I know it's at home. I'm talking
sorry.
about just us against Liverpool as a whole.
Yeah. No, at Anfield we should have got something out of that
Even
game.
at the Tottenham Stadium, wasn't it, when Tanganga made his debut and Lo Celso missed that
That
chance?
one, I'm saying that one we played well. We should have got a point. I'm saying last season we were well beaten. That's the last time we played them. That was in like January or February last season. We lost 3-1, but it probably could have been more, if I remember rightly. They dominated, and even though that's when Kane went off at half time, I remember Son had that goal ruled out for offside where it was very, very marginal. But Liverpool on great form right now. You got to remember as well, we were playing Liverpool at a great time last time. And we still couldn't beat them. We still got battered. We were playing Liverpool no centre backs, even when we played them at Anfield. When we lost 2-1, and we should have got something out of the game. Again, playing them, I believe, with no centre backs. They were playing Henderson at centre back, I think, weren't they?
I think you're right. Yeah.
So now they got Van Dijk back, Matip. Although
was Van Dijk yesterday? He didn't play.
yeah, actually, we don't know if they're going to have Van Dijk because he tested positive.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
They have 3 positive cases now, Liverpool.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh,
Him,
God.
yeah, exactly. It was him. I can't remember who else it was. It was someone put it in the group.
Fabinho.
Fabinho. What else was it? And someone put it in the group. Him, Fabinho, and one sec.
So basically, what you're saying to me is that they're going to get many more cases by tomorrow
Curtis
morning,
Jones.
and then the game will be off.
That's the thing. It's 3 cases now. How many cases are going to be by tomorrow and by Sunday? You could even be called off Sunday morning. It's happened enough times now. We don't like if they wake up Sunday. Look, it could be 3 cases until Sunday, and then they wake up Sunday morning and it's 8 cases.
There is actually a genuine chance this game's going to get called off. Then.
Yeah, definitely. I think from Tottenham's point of view, I don't see an issue with it going ahead at this point, considering we were going to play on Thursday. I don't believe we had any more cases since earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're okay. But now Liverpool are going through it. So, and that's the thing. Once there's 3 cases, you know there's a good chance there's more because they've all been together, they've all been in and around. That's why I'm with Tottenham. It started off with a few cases, and it just
Started off with 2, didn't it?
Yeah.
Hill and Emerson,
and then all of a
spread
sudden,
like wildfire, didn't
everyone had it pretty much. So it's hard to say whether this game's going to go ahead. We have to. I mean, it's just a waiting game, but I hope it does. I really hope it does because I've missed Tottenham playing.
Dying to see Spurs play again.
I want to see the disappointment. I'm desperate for the disappointment.
I'm addicted to the disappointment. Addicted to it.
Liverpool are going to be a unbelievable. Look, even without Van Dijk, they're going to be it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be very, very difficult. They're on great form. They're very, very hard. I know West Ham beat them a few weeks ago, but they're so hard to beat the way they're playing at the moment. With such intensity. Salah on top of his game. That front three of Mane, Jota and Salah are so hard to play against. And as well, I think coming up against our formation, I can see them getting a lot of joy because I can see Trent and Robertson really penning us back. Or either penning us back or getting a lot of joy in the wide areas. Either way, it's going to be very, very difficult to stop them. And
that's the thing, though. You can have all the game plan you want against Liverpool, and it just gets thrown out the window because of their quality. Their fullbacks are just way too strong. Salah and Mane absolutely smashing everyone at the moment, and it's going to be another thoughtly close title battle, isn't it, between Man City and Liverpool? It looks like again this season. Chelsea
faltering a bit.
off a tiny bit. Liverpool are the team to beat at the moment, them and Man City, and it's going to be very, very difficult game.
They're back to their best, pretty much. They're not. They're maybe not. Well, you could argue they're very best. They're literally rolling teams over. They look like in tandem again. It just goes to show you what a difference having your first choice backline or a backline you can rely on can give confidence to the rest of the team.
Any backline in general, they didn't have a backline last year.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like a backline you can rely not to, because last season when they had no backline, they weren't like letting in 5-6 goals a game. It wasn't like, except for obviously that Villa game where they got battered 7-2 or whatever it was. Like, they were losing like 1-0 at home to Fulham. You know what I mean? It's because they didn't have that confidence in their backline to really go at teams. They always felt like they had to cover for the defenders whenever, like in every situation. But now, when you have Van Dijk or there, when you have Konate and Matip and Gomez in your backline, you know you can go forward, you can go at teams, and that if they come at you, you have those defenders there ready to destroy their attacks, and you can have confidence in them. And it allows Salah and Mane to step up the pitch a lot more and get in dangerous areas, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And the midfielders as well. You're seeing the midfielders really press and being so aggressive, whereas last season they dropped off a bit. They were maybe a bit more pragmatic. So I think Liverpool now, it's like with Conte as well, despite the fact that he's been here, what, 6 weeks now, but the last couple of weeks, how much quality time on the training pitch has he actually had? Who knows?
Not a lot, that's for sure.
Only this week are we back on, and it hasn't been everyone. So I still, we're still playing catch up, and Liverpool is such a well-oiled machine. I see it being very, very, unless we kind of grind out a draw, I see it very difficult getting a result in this game.
I kind of look at this game as a bit of a free hit because everyone's expecting a loss against a very, very good side, and anything that we can get apart from a loss is going to be a bonus for us. And I look at this game as a free hit. Take this game, get whatever you can from it. If you lose and play well, then fair enough. You're getting done by the better side, that's for sure. But after this game, we've got a nice kind of run of fixtures again. So I think, just do what you can in this game and then really concentrate on the next run coming up, because it's a free hit for me, this one.
I also feel like the Liverpool, considering the situation we've been in with COVID, are probably the worst team to come up against. How they play, they demand so much from you physically. They're such a physical team to play against.
Non-stop.
Yeah,
they smother you, don't they?
Exactly,
they absolutely smother you.
Emerson and Reguilon might not play, or Sessegnon, we'll see. They have to be like on top of their game. They have to be physically tracking Trent, and not only tracking Trent and Robertson, but they also have got to be exploiting the space that they leave, so you can make better use of that. And you can, and especially with the space Trent leaves, like on his right hand side. We know he's not the best defender, but they demand so much of you physically. It's going to be very, very difficult. We're going to have Skip and Højbjerg back, or one of them back for Sunday. Who knows? And considering how much energy those central midfielders put in, like they hound you and they harass you and they don't give you a second to breathe, and they also break past you, they get into the box, and how we're going to manage that when these players are physically recovering, it's going to be very, very difficult. So I envisage a very difficult game. I envisage Conte being pragmatic in this game and trying to either keep the score low or trying to contain Liverpool and get and grind out a draw. That's like the best route. I can't see us, except on maybe some counter attacks. Arsene and Lucas going to be available, because they probably weren't going to play on Sunday. And if those two players are available, maybe there's a chance on some counters we can hurt them. But if they're not
available, though, how actual match fit and how long can they actually
even
last,
if they can play an hour, you know what I mean?
And a player that I've been really enjoying watching this year for Liverpool, who took a while to get into his days at Liverpool, but now I think he's fully fledged there and playing really well, in Thiago Alcantara.
Yeah, what a player.
He is absolutely playing unbelievable at the moment, controlling things from the middle. His energy is unbelievable. And, he took a while to get into it, didn't he? But he's here, and he's introduced to the Premier League while Jurgen Klopp brought him in to replace Gigi Wijnaldum.
And he's allowing them a bit more guile in the centre, whereas I feel like a lot of the time they're at their best where they're 100%, which it still is, where they're like going at teams at full pelt, rock and roll, as Klopp used to say. But Thiago allows them, with his passing ability, with his patience, with his pace setting in the central midfield, he allows them the opportunity to just breathe a bit, maybe allow teams to settle in their defensive shape, and he has the quality to break them down. And that's what we're seeing now with Thiago. So now he's adding an extra element to Liverpool's game, I feel.
He's one of these players that he always seems like he's got a lot of time on the ball, just because of his awareness of the football pitch, of his... He's like got eyes on the back of his head, Thiago. He's just an unbelievable player. He really is. And
he's going to be difficult to stop.
Yeah, when you marry him with, Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Diego Jota. Oh, my God, Jota. The way he's playing at the moment. He gets like 5 or 6 chances a game.
Yeah.
5 or 6 chances.
Well,
you
got to think about it. It's not out of nowhere because you got to think about it when you got Salah and Mane there. How much attention they demand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always going to leave space for another player. So Jota's exploiting that, absolutely exploiting it, and he's good enough to be contributing goals and assists. You've seen that already.
Getting better and better and better.
He's taken on that role. Firmino, in an interesting way, was more of a creative player in that centre. Jota might not be as creative, but he definitely is more of a goal threat. That's for sure. And he gets in behind, he gets in your face. He's not afraid to get a shot off, and he's been a really, really brilliant. They've got two options there, in Firmino and Jota, and it's really Jota with his goals is definitely lifting the burden slightly on Salah and Mane. But looking at Liverpool, if the AFCON goes ahead, how badly do you see it affecting them?
Massively. I can see it massively affecting them. Salah and Mane out, I think, and 1 or 2 other players as well, maybe potentially out as well for them. But those 2 players alone, I think it will affect them massively. And that's a reason as well why I said the other day where I think Man City are going to end up winning this title. Because I think Chelsea are kind of dawdling at the moment. Liverpool and Man City looking like the 2 clear front runners, but I think they're going to miss a lot when they go for the most part of January.
Do you reckon they'll struggle a lot without them?
They'll struggle, yeah. I think they'll still win games, but there will be those games where Salah and Mane kind of like breeze them through those games. Maybe if they win by 1 or 2 goals, you know what I mean? When Salah and Mane score those goals, I think they'll be struggling for goals. They'll miss their goals.
I think when they got Brentford at home, Palace away, Leicester at home, Burnley away. Oh, that's in February already. I don't know when they're back, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they can cope.
Maybe.
I feel like when you got a front 3, they'll probably have a front 3 of Firmino, Jota, and Origi or Minamino. It's not necessarily that front 3. Obviously, is nowhere near Salah Mane, obviously, but because their team structure, because they got that defense in place now, where it looks solid again, I reckon they should be able to still grind out results.
They will be able to grind out results, but they won't. I don't know if they'll be able to grind out every result. That's the thing, because you got to look at these 2 teams, Man City and Liverpool. They're both due. The winner of this league is going to finish on, I think, 90 points or above probably this season, right? So every single point is massive in this title race, and I think that even if they drop off just 1 or 2 games, it's going to be big in this title race. And if it's a tight game and they're looking for 1 player or 2 players to pull them through in that game, Salah and Mane are going to be those 2 players that are going to pull them through in that game. And like you say, those are the 2 players that really are making the space for Jota. So I think if there are any tight games in January, there's a chance that they won't come through in it.
I just feel like because their defensive structure, they're still going to be able to keep clean sheets. And then if Jota or Firmino, and if they can come up with something, because they still got there. I know their 2 best players are missing, but they still got that team structure there. But you're right. Even if it's 1 game, then that's bad enough. Because it's kind of between Liverpool and City recently, it's kind of been you have to be faultless to win, and that's it. And it's looking like that again this year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in January with them if there is a drop off or if they can make it through. But
who would their front 3 be?
Firmino, Jota, and either Origi or Minamino, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think that's good enough.
I think it is. I think it is good enough to grind out results. Not over a long period, but over a month. Over a month period where they know that they can rely on them and they still got those. It's not like defenders are missing. I think it could be good enough. And then you got Ox as well, who can maybe fill in the front 3 occasionally.
I'm not too sure. But look, in terms of how the game is going to go on Sunday, I mean, I expect Antonio to maybe set us up in a kind of mid-block, but I really fully expect Trent and Robertson to push us all the way back where we end up being in a kind of low block.
Yeah.
And that happens to a lot of teams that face Liverpool.
You're forced into it.
They don't intend to sit in a low block, but you just end up being forced into it by the sheer work rate of Liverpool, by the sheer pressing of Liverpool, and that's what's probably going to happen this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't see any other way. Because of just how intense they are, and we're not going to be at our best physically. Even personnel-wise, we probably won't be as well. So I can't see any other way but to try and grind out a draw or something out of this game. And can we rely on our defence to keep out Liverpool? Probably not. But it's going to be so difficult. It's going to be so difficult. Kane as well not firing. So can we have confidence that he's going to make the most of any opportunities that fall to him? Maybe not. So it's going to be very, very difficult to get a result. But look, you never know. Under Mourinho, that game where we lost 1-0, we just hung in there, didn't we? We were kind of getting peppered for the whole game, and then the last 15 minutes, we really went at them and should have got a point out of it in the end. So maybe that's kind of what we got to go for in this kind of game. It's going to be interesting how Conte approaches it.
It is. Well, I think we know we're going to set up very compact. We're going to set up in a kind of mid-block, and we're going to try and hit him on the counter-attack, hit him in the transitions and stuff like that.
But he could because he could maybe put 3 in the centre, beef up in the midfield. Maybe he does want to be outnumbered and get put 2 up front. That might be the best way to try and hurt them. Or does he keep players out wide and try and exploit the space that is going to be left behind Trent and Robertson, and try and get in down the sides? It's going to be interesting. I don't know. But then you lose numbers in midfield, and if you let Liverpool dominate midfield, it's going to be very difficult. Yeah. So it's a catch-22, I guess, with Conte, how he approaches it. But you got to also think about physically, because physically we're not our best. How best is it to approach this game when we're not physically going to be our best? And it's not.
I think it's a near on impossible task with what's happened to Spurs recently in terms of hardly anyone's been training. The players coming back from COVID, they're not going to be at their fully fittest. So I think we're facing a massively uphill battle this weekend, and it's going to be near on impossible to get all 3 points in the game, especially, and even get a point in this game. It's going to be near on impossible, in my opinion. Sorry, I can't be more positive, but I think that's the truth, to be honest.
Well, that's the nature of the Liverpool at the moment. You've got to respect their quality. You've got to know who you're coming up against.
Even without the COVID thing, like if both teams were at full strength, you know what I mean, it'd be very hard, but there would always be a chance. But I just can't see a chance in under the circumstances this time.
Maybe our best bet is it gets postponed. Have Romero back by the time we play them again.
Yeah.
How many games have we actually played since Romero got injured? Is it 1 or 2? No, 2 games. Yeah, Brentford
Leeds.
and Norwich. Did he not play against Leeds? No, he didn't, did he?
No, Leeds was the game after the international break, wasn't it?
So Leeds, 3 games.
Yeah. But anyway, what is your score prediction going into it?
Unfortunately, I think we're going to lose. It's a shame to say. I think we're going to lose, and we probably by 2 goals. I think.
I was thinking 3-1.
Yeah, I'd like to think we're going to score, but something tells me we're not even going to score. That's what I'm worried about. I think like 3-0.
3-0.
Might be 3-0.
Wow.
I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just worried. Depends, if Davis isn't playing, then the back line is compromised as well. You know what I mean? So it's difficult. If Sessegnon's going to be playing on the left, Emerson. If Emerson's not fully fit,
should be playing.
Who?
The players you just mentioned, because Davis, I think we heard the rumours that only Skip and Højbjerg won't be playing for that Leicester game, and the rest of them should have been in for the Liverpool game.
No, but he's saying that they were only only ready to play 20 to 25 minutes on Thursday.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean now it means they can probably be, consider we didn't play at all on Thursday. It means obviously they're going to be fitter for Sunday, but doesn't mean they're ready to play 90 minutes. And even if they are ready to play 90 minutes, doesn't mean they're on top of their game. You know what I mean? Top of their physical game. Just means they can get through a 90-minute game. Yeah. Doesn't mean they're like ready to go like 100%. Exactly. You know what I mean? Against Liverpool, it's not just about being able to play 90 minutes. You have to be at your very best, at the top of your game. There's no room for error in anything. And even if, say Reguilon is a late fitness test, and he's ready to play, do I back him to literally be on top of his game again up against Trent Alexander-Arnold and get the better of him? I don't, unfortunately. Unless he's literally at the top of his game, physically ready for it. It's going to be very, very difficult. So I don't know. And structurally, they're ahead of us.
Have an off game. You never know.
Yeah, then we can get a draw.
All right, well, very negative from us, unfortunately, today, but that is your match preview. That's what it is when you come up against Liverpool. They're an absolutely top side. Them and Man City, in my opinion, the best two sides in Europe at the moment.
We've got to hope Conte has some sort of plan up his sleeve to combat what they got to offer.
Sure he will.
We have to hope that, and they have an off day. Basically, you have to hope those two things, and the plan works. That's what we're hoping for. And you never know; stranger things have happened. But at the moment, how I see things, it's difficult to see anything but a defeat.
Yeah. All right, let's move on and let's start bringing some guests on. And look who we have in the background. We got Sean Butler. Let's bring him on.
I thought Brian was. Where's Brian?
I'm sure he'll come on. Sean, how's it going, buddy?
Guys?
Hey, Sean, you all right? Can you hear us? Sean?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Mate.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. How you guys doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good, mate. How are you feeling coming into
I think I need to close one of these down.
Oh, that's all right.
Can you hear us twice?
Hang on.
Is everything all right?
Can you hear me now? I don't know what's going on.
What's going on, Sean?
I feel like I'm on there's like a lag, and I don't know if the audio is coming through correctly. But
no, your audio on our end is coming on fine.
okay, perfect. No, I think we're okay now. It's caught up. Must have been a bad Wi-Fi or something.
Okay, no worries.
But Sean, big game this weekend.
Yeah.
First of all, is it going ahead?
I think. Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends what happens with Liverpool. I think Tottenham look like they're over the worst of their bout, but if Liverpool, pick up a few more, then that will probably kind of seal the deal in terms of it not going ahead, which is something I'm not too bothered about. As much as I take your point that we all missed Tottenham over the last couple of weeks. I think I put it in the chat just a second ago. I feel like December's crazy enough month anyway, and January is really usually quite boring. But if everything gets kind of put back, it makes January a really exciting month. It sort of closes down the days until Romero gets back. But I'm not too bothered about missing the Liverpool game. But I think at the moment it's 50-50 if it goes ahead.
What do you think the Premier League should do? Should they be shutting down the Premier League at this point with matches getting postponed left, right and centre, and a lot of them at last minute as well? Is it the right thing to do, or do you think we have to just persist and take it by case by case?
It looks, just looking, like, I'm not a scientist obviously, but looking at the amount of cases, I feel like obviously the cases don't matter so much if the hospitalizations and deaths aren't there. I'm not so much worried about the players. I'm more worried about the people that are going to the games. Mm-hmm. And obviously that would be like a petri dish for the Omicron to go bananas. So I feel like what the best thing to do would be to take a 2-week circuit breaker, and then by that point, hopefully the data will come through for the scientists to know what the hospitalization or how severe the infection will be. I think we all know the cases are gonna go crazy, but if it's not severe, then it's probably a good thing to let everyone go to the games and get everyone infected, as long as it's just a bad cold, and it will take a couple of weeks, I guess, for the scientists to figure out whether that's the case or not. So I do think a 2-week, let's shut it down until January, and then by that point, like I say, the data should be there to know whether it's safe to come out or not.
What I fear about that is, though, like, you shut it down for 2 weeks, and then in 2 weeks you still don't know any more than what you did 2 weeks before that, and it ends up being much longer than 2 weeks. That's what I fear. Because if you remember the first lockdown with the football, they said it was only going to be a certain amount of time, and it ended up being a lot longer than they actually hoped for at the beginning. But I think
if that's the case, though, then
go on.
If that is the case, then it's then it's probably the right to not have the football anyway. Like if the data's still not clear and the numbers are going crazy, if it takes more than 2 weeks to figure out that it's whether or not it's severe enough to postpone the football for longer, then I think the best decision would be to keep it locked down anyway.
Would you think the best decision? I mean, if that's the case, would you think that it'd be better to go on with footballers in bubbles and stuff like that and no fans? I mean, that could be a way to go again.
Yeah, I mean, that would be devastating, especially for someone like me who's tried to defend Daniel Levy, because I feel like that would be the excuse that Daniel Levy would want to not have to spend money in January because he relies on the £3 million a week or every match day revenue and things. So I hate to go back to seeing football played behind closed doors like that. Last season was such a disappointing way to view football, So Yeah, hope not. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this virus is just it's a bad cold, and then we can carry on with our lives on some level.
Anyway, this isn't a coronavirus briefing. Let's
Yeah.
talk about football. Let's talk about football. How do you see the game going this weekend? If it does go, obviously, we'll assume that it is.
If it does go ahead, I think that I did think that a 3-1 loss is probably where it will end up, all other things being equal. However, I would say that Tottenham aren't known for starting fast, but if like Virgil van Dijk is still out, Liverpool aren't the same team without him as they are with him. And if he's one of the guys that have gone down with their version of coronavirus, then I didn't think Liverpool were that special last night against Newcastle. I thought that when Newcastle went 1-0 up, Liverpool were very lucky for their equaliser to have been allowed because of the head injury. That was a pivotal moment in the game. And I didn't think that Liverpool was spectacular against a really poor Newcastle team. So I think that if Tottenham can get most of them that by maybe they've got an hour in their legs, like the main players, the players that could cause Liverpool some concern, then what I think we would need would be a fast start from Tottenham. I think the only chance we've got out to get anything out of the game would be to get an early goal. Maybe if at all possible, go dream world scenario, go 2-0 up before half time, and then you've got something that you can really sort of lock into, and as the fatigue takes shape, then we can try and defend it and absorb. But if we don't start well, then I think it goes badly pretty quickly.
And I think that's so important because especially when you're fatigued, it's very well known that fatigue affects you a lot more when you're losing a game than if you're winning a game. When if you're winning and you have something to cling on to, that adrenaline can kind of force you through a 90-minute game. But when you're losing and chasing a game, all of a sudden your legs start to get a lot heavier. You start to think more negatively about things, and it's a lot more difficult to drag yourself back into a game when you're feeling tired. So I think I agree with you. It's very important that we try and have a fast start and take a lead.
It's not something we do, is it? Really, it's not something that Tottenham often do. The other thing I think that's worth pointing out is that if Liverpool have got the same kind of problems, and so there's some of their players, maybe they're not necessarily training as a group right now. Maybe their fitness is damped a little bit, but also they do the press, right? And the press is exhausting. You have to have incredible levels of fitness. So even a little dent in their fitness levels to some of their key players might make their press. Because if you don't press perfectly, then it's the worst style of defending in the world, right? It leaves like
correct. It leaves it open, opens exactly, yeah.
So if one or two of them are just off the ball a little bit, and Tottenham can exploit that, then and hopefully Conte's would be saying these sorts of things to the players, that there's probably an opportunity. If there is an opportunity to penetrate them, it's because one or two of their players are a little bit slow, and that will leave gaps. So zip the ball around as fast as you can, one touch passes. And hopefully like I say, that's the only way I can see us, having too much success in the game.
Sean, when you mentioned fast start and Liverpool, it just gives me nightmares. Absolute nightmares.
Always concede early to them. Always.
Oh my God, yeah. But all I can think of is just the ball canning off Sissoko's armpit. That's all I can think of in my head right now. But a discussion we were having before in terms of what would you prefer? Would you prefer 3 games in hand, or would you prefer 4 points on the board?
The 3 games being Burnley, Leeds, and Leicester.
Burnley, Leicester, and
Brighton.
Yeah,
3 away games, remember, as well.
I think if you offered me 5 points, I'd take the 5. But 4 points, I think we can do better than that. Yeah.
You'd take the 5 points, or we'll win 2 draws.
Yeah, I think Brighton are a really good outfit. I think Leicester. I had us down for a draw against Leicester if the game went ahead with full strength teams. I think we would have beaten Burnley. But then obviously the Burnley game was also, if that had gone ahead in the heavy snow, I think that particular climate would have suited Burnley far more than it would have suited Tottenham. So, how things were at the time with the weather at Burnley, with the form of Brighton and Leicester being Leicester, I would have taken 5 points. I think,
Yeah, I completely agree. Maybe
I would have taken 5. I don't know. When you've got the possibility of 9 points and you can get them at the end, when you've got players back and maybe after a January, could be more something to look at.
I think we can go to Leicester, Brighton and Burnley and all. I think we can go to all those places and win on our day, obviously. But I think 6 points minimum for me.
6 points had it been played just now, right? But if
No,
now-
as
now-
in
now-
with the game in hands. I mean, as in
Yeah.
playing them a bit later.
Oh, okay. Playing them. If the Burnley game isn't rescheduled until like March, for argument's sake, then
It'll probably be end of January, to be fair.
Oh, you reckon? Okay, yeah, fair enough. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have any problems us beating Burnley if there wasn't bad weather. So hopefully there won't be bad weather. Then that's 3 points, and then Leicester look like they're coming into a little bit of form now. So I still think that's a draw, and I think Brighton. Oh, I don't know what's Brighton's recent form is.
They haven't won in a
Not
while.
great at all.
No,
Brighton,
yeah.
despite playing fairly well, they haven't won in a long time.
Yeah, okay. So on that basis, then to play them in January, maybe I'd reassess and say 7 points would be
7.
Yeah. I keep changing my mind.
You're very easily swayed, Sean.
I am very easily influenced. It's a bad trait I have. Yeah.
That's why you're a nice believer of Daniel Levy. That's why you get swayed by all of his bullshit.
Well, listen, there's 3 things that could change in three. If there's 3 strikes and you're out rule for Daniel Levy, and they all happen pretty much this season. The first one of those is if he reneges on any promises that he made in January to spend, and and I think that there is a chance that he might do that if there are things like COVID lockdowns or no more fans at games. There's a chance that he'll do that, and if he does do that, obviously we don't know what promises were made for Conte, but it's I would be surprised if Conte wasn't given some level of assurances. So if he does that, then I'd certainly move down the spectrum towards the Levy outs a little bit more. And then the other 2 things are if when we start to become profitable again, the end of this season, if he starts taking dividends before investing in the club, then that would be something that I'll look very poorly on. And the third thing is that if they take any profits that we make and start to invest into more high streets and more property around the ground, like we've got enough of that stuff now, we don't need any more. So all the additional profits now need to go football club first. And if any of those things change, then you'll see me and Daigle on the ENIC out protest outside the stadium very soon.
Well, Daigle's back in London, so
I know, yeah.
trouble is coming. But Sean, what's your score prediction?
I said 3-1 in your chat, but I think I'm going to try and be optimistic. I'm going to say 2-1 Tottenham. I think that if we can start early, then there's no point in everyone being negative. I like to be disagreeable. So I'm going to say 2-1 Tottenham, but it requires a fast start. If we don't start well, 3-1 Liverpool.
All right, Sean.
Right.
Always
Come
great
on,
to talk to you,
2-1.
my friend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Looking forward to
guys.
seeing you, Sean.
Yeah, you
nice
too.
one, mate.
Take care.
See you in a bit.
All right.
Might be seeing Sean on some watch-alongs soon.
Yes, looking
get
forward
involved
to
in that.
see Sean on a few watch-alongs. Just to let people know, there is a new link in the community section if you want to come on and have your say. Let's just go through a few super chats. Dark Sun G saying our top 4 rivals, Man U, now has 2 games in hand. So I feel that if Man U goes far in the Champions League, they will burn out and get 8th minimum, 6th maximum. What do you say to that?
Well, especially with the way they like to play under Ragnick is very physically demanding the way they're playing. But
It'll take them time to get to grips with that
yeah,
system.
but I
as
think
well.
they do have the players to do it. Unfortunately, I really believe that with maybe not Ronaldo, but with Rashford and Sancho, for sure they can play those kind of roles. I think that. I think they might burn out, but we still haven't seen them at their best. So I can see them getting into full flight at some point.
How long do you reckon it takes them to get to their best? Because we haven't seen anything close
No,
to that
it will take a few months. It will take a few months, but but once they hit their stride, they could be a very imposing
If it
force.
takes them a few months, let's say January, February, let's say in February they start hitting their stride, right? Is that enough time to make up the top 4?
Depends how much of a gap there is. Right now is not right now. If it's right now,
right
the
now,
same
but
gap.
there's 2 months to go.
I'm saying if the gap's the same, then it is now. Then
of
there
course,
is.
If the gap's the same now, yeah.
So we have to see. At the moment they're grinding, despite playing badly, they are grinding out wins. So we have to hope they start dropping points.
All right, another super chat here from Killer Collective, a member for 8 months. Says, hi guys, thanks for the great content. I can see the season being extended at this point. What's your thoughts? By the way, how's Bob Spur doing?
Well, we'll get Brian on to.
Yeah, Brian's going to come on and he's going to give us all an update on Bob Spur. But everyone do send their best wishes to Bob Spur in the chat. In terms of the season being extended, I mean, I can see it being extended, but only if they take a circuit break.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no reason to extend it otherwise, is there? So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I can't see it being. They wouldn't want to extend it by too long. But because I know these people don't like to mess with the calendar too much unless it's completely necessary.
And with the World Cup coming up in under a year now, or in about a year's time.
At least it's not in the summer.
Yeah.
So, because that would be, then we couldn't extend the season if it was in the summer. So, I don't know, is the next season starting early? Or is it? I don't think it is. Starting normal time, isn't it, next season?
They actually put something out. I can't remember what they said. I think it still starts in August.
Okay, fine. I mean, I can see it being extended by a bit, but not too much.
All right. Have we got anyone else waiting to come on? We got no one waiting. We're waiting for
Mikey wants to come on.
Brian, though.
Can I join the live? Says Mikey. Super chat.
Yeah, the link is in the community section. Mikey
should be there. Anyone else want to come on? Have your say. I want to know people's opinions on whether the Premier League should stop. What if the game does go ahead on Sunday? I want to know what people think. If we can get a result against Liverpool, and also want to know people's opinions on whether it's better to have less points on the board but have points on the board, or to have the 3 games in hand. I want to know what people's opinions are on that. If they believe that the games we have are winnable and we can get 9 points, so we should have confidence, or would you take 4 points out of those games and just move on? Because currently we're 4 points behind top 4 with 3 games in hand. So what position would you rather be in? Would you rather be 4 points ahead, or would you rather have the 3 games in hand? Interesting.
Brian Daigle saying he's coming now. Brains McLeod coming on as well.
And Brains. Up. And Jory as well. Oh, well, the band's getting back together.
We're getting a band back together. That's what I like to see. Mikey K saying the link is not in the tab.
Maybe it's just for members.
I think it's only open to members today, Mikey.
Sorry about that.
So yeah, we're just waiting for a few guests, to be honest.
Pep apparently has cancelled his press conference due to a inconclusive COVID test.
For him.
Mm-hmm. So maybe... Well, is Man City going ahead this weekend? Who are they playing? 5 games already been cancelled this weekend.
I know. Saturday has been decimated. There's only like 1
And
game
how is Leeds going
now.
ahead? I don't understand the Leeds Arsenal game's going ahead.
Why not?
Because Leeds only have 11 players.
Oh, right. Maybe it will get called off.
Apparently Leeds say they have 11 players, including 2 goalkeepers.
Whatever, let the Arsenal fans go up to Leeds. I'm not fussed.
How is that still
let
going
them
ahead?
travel all the way up to Leeds for
Chelsea
it to be
as
cancelled.
well. Lukaku, Havertz, Werner, all missing yesterday due to COVID. So they're going to have more cases. Probably.
Unless they caught it early and didn't infect anyone. You don't know, do you? You just don't know.
Villa as well. Didn't Villa just cancel their game in midweek? Oh, no, they played. I don't know. We'll see.
Isn't the Villa game cancelled this weekend?
Doesn't say so. Is it? I can't keep
tell
up.
you which games
Can't keep up with what's cancelled and what's
No,
not.
Villa's actually on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Villa's on, Arsenal's on, United, Brighton off, Southampton, Brentford off, Watford, Palace off, West Ham, Norwich off, and then on the Sunday, Everton, Leicester off, and you've got Wolves, Chelsea, Newcastle, City, and Tottenham, Liverpool.
There's more games on the Sunday than there is on the Saturday.
Huh?
More games on the Sunday than there is on the Saturday.
More games? Yeah, I know. Anyway, anyone else come on yet? Brian said he's waiting in the back.
Must be something. Maybe he clicked the wrong link. Must be something wrong.
Brian says check WhatsApp.
I thought you said you put out a new link or something.
Brian, I'm going to send you... Can you just email me the link and I'll send it to him directly?
All right, bear with us, people. Let's read some of these comments. Wolves FI says Spurs is only 3 points behind Chelsea if they win all their games in hand. Yeah, I agree. It's a highly unlikely outcome. And their last 6 EPL games have been really poor. Lucky wins, Leeds and Watford. Yeah, they were lucky against Leeds and Watford. Really lucky, Chelsea. Bad result yesterday for
Chelsea
them.
are playing shocking at the moment.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yesterday, I was watching them yesterday. I don't think they were awful, but they took the lead and then they conceded straight away. But they never looked comfortable through the game. They didn't seem to have control. Everton were putting some really good counters together, and if they were a better team,
such a young Everton side as well. I thought Everton, and definitely in the last 20 minutes, played really well.
Yeah, and if Everton were a better team, they might have even won that game yesterday.
But they, at one point, Chelsea in the first 70 minutes or 60 minutes or something, had like 80% possession or something.
Couldn't break them down until they moved to a back four, which was interesting. But look, Chelsea are not playing well at the moment. I do expect them. They have the players to turn it around. That's the thing.
If we win our games in hand, we're only 3 points behind Chelsea. Just saying.
But the thing is with Chelsea, like, they'll have some players go through bad form, like for example Lukaku or Werner, but then they can have Ziyech or Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi or Havertz hit stride, and they can hit form, and then they can drop off form, and then Werner can hit form at a different time. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not.
Werner,
I don't think.
Form Werner.
All right, yes, and I still think he's a good player, Werner. Like, I don't think it's a thing where I like it will affect them challenging for a title, but they'll get top 4, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Of course, I don't have any doubt they will get top 4. They are definitely the 3rd best team in this league.
Yeah, at the moment. They have the players to turn around their form now. Unlike Tottenham, who, like, if Son's out of form, then we're out of form. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no two ways about it. But for them, if one player's out of form, they got another player to come in.
Yeah, they just don't seem to be clicking at the moment.
Yeah, but it's a temporary thing, I reckon.
But look, we've got Mr. London in the back end.
London town.
Brian
London
Daigle is back in London
calling.
town, baby. And I can't wait to get you back in the studio,
can't
Brian.
wait to
But
be back in
welcome
the
back
studio.
home. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, boys. Sorry it took so long, mate. I've just had my 2-day testing come, and the palaver to activate your thing and then do it and then get, oh, Jesus. But yeah, now I'm all good. How are you, boys?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. But before we get into the Spurs stuff, let's talk about Bob. And please give us and the viewers an update, because we've had a lot of people asking about him, a lot of people sending him good wishes. And obviously, you know our thoughts on Bob and everything like that. So please just give us an update.
So yeah, I can give you an update. It's nothing's really changed health-wise, but there is a change. But first of all, I want to say that Kim is truly humbled, and Bob will be when he wakes up, with the love and support he's got. And I just want to extend that to myself as well. The love and support I've got from people within the community, in chats, in whatever, who have been reaching out to me as well. It's just times like this when you find out what a tight-knit community it is. It's all good during the good times, but it's when the bad times come where you really establish such strong bonds, and it's been incredible. So as I was boarding my flight yesterday, I got, or just before I boarded it, Kim got a phone call. There was a chance that they may move Bob, because apparently the Harlow Hospital is getting very, very overcrowded, not just with COVID, but with other things. So they were saying that they may move him, and they moved him. So not only have they moved,
Oh, he's moved. He's actually moved.
He's moved in his coma. We found out that I won't go into all the back end nonsense because I'll start getting wound up. But basically, he's now in bloody Milton Keynes.
What?
Yep.
They moved him to Milton Keynes.
Yep. They've moved him to Milton Keynes. So he's still in his induced coma. There's no change with anything on that side. But Kim was alerted to this yesterday. And when they said Milton Keynes, we were trying to establish this, because you've got to remember, Bob moved down from Nottingham, or he was based in Nottingham, and then Derby. And I don't know if he had time to change his medical records or anything like that. So he may have, but also the hospital they've moved him to is a university hospital, a very, very good hospital. where they can give him better care. He actually needed, so when we thought he was in intensive care, which is where he needed to be, he was actually in critical care, and they didn't have room to move him into intensive care to give him everything. So he now is in intensive care. It's just a lot further away than we'd like it to be. But as it stands right now, Kim was going to get a phone call. We're waiting for that phone call. Kim may have had it, and I'm waiting to hear from her. Kim, they gave a courtesy call to say, yep, we've got Bob. And because at one point we didn't know where Bobby was. It was that ridiculous. But they said they'll give him a call. So they've given Kim the call to say, yep, he's here. He's in intensive care. And a doctor will call you later to give you the complete lowdown. But health-wise, at the moment, there's no change. So I don't know if you look at that as good because he hasn't got worse or bad because he hasn't got better. But it's at the moment the same as he's just in Milton Keynes now.
And how long has he been in the coma for now? Is it 2 days now?
When did I speak to you, Ben? So I spoke to you. So it was the day I had my fit to fly. So Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and do this now. I'm working it out back to English time. So Kim let me know. I spoke to Kim very early Tuesday morning my time. So it would have been like, let's say 10 o'clock your time, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning my time. And we heard after Bob's dad's funeral that Kim spoke to a doctor and said, this is at Harlow, saying that we're monitoring him. Obviously, we're not happy with his oxygen levels, and we may have to put him into a self-induced coma and put him on the ventilator. After Kim got off that phone call, within seconds, Bobby sent her a text saying, I'm going on the ventilator. So we didn't know for sure because we obviously didn't know if Bob was like not of sound mind. You know what I mean? He was under a lot of point. So he may not have, it may be, and he's got the mask on, so he may not have heard properly. So Kim and I obviously the whole community got very, very worried. But then when Kim got there, what they were actually doing to Bob is they were asking, does he give his permission for them to put him into one, should it arise? And he did. And then obviously he had deteriorated by the time that Kim went to see him. But when Kim left Thursday about 7:30 in the evening UK time, as Kim left, they put him in the coma. So obviously Kim's not allowed to go in and see him where he was, and basically I'm not going to go into it because, like I said, she got a phone call yesterday saying we may move him. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she got another call saying, oh no, they said we will give you a call to we're going to say we may move him, but if we do, you'll know about it. And you'd think that meant if he is getting moved, you call him to say just to let you know. And then I think an hour or two after it, they said, "Oh, Bobby's gone," and they wouldn't even tell us what hospital. Didn't even know. So it was just like, "Oh my God, here we go. Where is he?" But now we know he's in Milton Keynes. I think it's called University College or whatever.
And am I right in saying he was able, before he went into the coma, he was able to see a lot of the messages people were sending to him?
So,
and
the great thing I will say, I mean, I can't vouch for Twitter, but I would imagine Bob, knowing Bob as we do, and as I do.
He actually a few days ago he was liking a few tweets I saw, so he was really looking at it. Yeah,
exactly. He was doing that. I mean, it's always good with WhatsApp because you can tell the blue ticks. So he's seen them. The one thing I will say is obviously when I've sent him messages, there's been a day or two where he hasn't sent me a message. I don't care if he doesn't because he could be sleeping, he could be whatever he's doing. But all I do know is that he has been, since not just this COVID, since his father's passing away. You got to remember, his father passed 2 days before that. It was his birthday. This run of luck that this man has been on is just like you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy. So he was absolutely humbled, overwhelmed, and everything with the incredible community reaching together for the cost for the funeral of his father. And obviously after that, this will happen. But I know he's been seeing things and he's been updating as and when he can. And obviously he has been seeing things, and you know what Bob is like. Like I spoke to you, Ben and Sim, and let's make some people laugh and put a silver lining and bring back a bit of Bob Spur into it. When he went and Kim was there and he was about to go for the self-induced coma. He screamed outside or in the hospital, "Fuck COVID, we're yids."
Oh god.
So, if any, I mean, I'm sure that all the people that are watching this right now have had a little chuckle because that's just so Bob. I mean, everyone is waiting. I mean, I don't think there are two words from one person that people want to see on YouTube more. The first time he comes back on air and just goes, "Oh, piss off," the whole Tottenham community will be like, "Okay, he's good." But yeah, so we're dealing with this. Kim's been looking into it. Now, I've got to say it again. Kim has been absolutely incredible. Do you know what? It's been very, very hard for me. Like I speak to you guys, as you know, a lot. And the worst thing for me was the distance. Having the community and everyone around them and seeing what we're doing all together was fantastic. But should anything bad have happened or whatever, and it's like I've got to wait 2 days to get a test, then a flight, then this, then that, that was killing me. Now I'm here. I'm a little bit more relaxed about the situation because obviously if I need be anywhere, I can get there. But yeah, so Milton Keynes is a bit of a trek to get to, but me and Kim will be doing it. But when Kim was looking at the hospital's website, apparently they're not letting visitors in, especially in Bob's department or where he is right now. We're just hoping that apparently they do it on a select basis or whatever, but we're just hoping at least when he comes round and they please God that he gets to the point where they take him off it, at least that day, hopefully Kim could go up there, or Kim and myself, just because he's going to wake up a bit. When he went to sleep, he would have been in Harlow Hospital. I mean, he's going to wake up a bit confused and dazed anyway, but when he realised, where the hell am I? It could be a bit more confusing for him. So hopefully, Kim by herself or Kim and myself can be there when he wakes up or when he comes round. But yeah, that's where we are with Bob at the moment. There's no news on the health, but he's now in Milton Keynes.
Okay, well, thank you for the update, Brian. And obviously, all our best wishes and thoughts all with Bob, and we all hope he gets better and makes a speedy recovery, and we're all hoping for the best, and let's just hope he pulls through. It's a very bad situation at the moment. Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
and fuck COVID, we're all yids.
Do you know what? It's just do you know what? If everyone plays, you can actually see him doing it.
I know, 100%. You can actually see him
doing it. It's not even a. But like I said, the community have just been absolutely outstanding. It like I said, it just goes to show, and let's just hope, pray, everything. And obviously, now I'm here, I'll try and keep people as up to date, because obviously with the time zone difference from me over there, it's quite hard to always try and find a time. Whereas now, that obstacle has got away.
When you read that out, read out Kim's message to me yesterday on the FaceTime or whatever we were speaking on, I was cracking up laughing. It's such a great story. It's so classic Bob.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Classic Bob.
Exactly.
So everyone send your best wishes to Bob, and I'm sure, hopefully, we've all together sending positive vibes that can help him through. But
exactly. Everyone go over to his channel and smash that subscribe button as well.
Everyone go subscribe to Bob the Spur TV. Maybe when he comes back, you'll see a nice, healthy subscriber bump. That can help a little bit.
Yeah, and everyone go send him some tweets of all your best wishes as well. The guy is an absolute legend. And the sooner we get him back, the absolute better.
I'll tell you one thing, boys. I actually reckon that please God, when they wake him up, when he turns his phone on, it's going to actually explode. It'll be like battery, and then within 30 seconds, it'll be like your battery's dead.
Buzz.
Exactly. It's just going to be like your live chat goes on games and everything when you're going. But it's just going to be when he turns that phone on, it's going to be notification. But please God, we get to that stage, and we wish him a very, very speedy recovery, and he's got the love of all of us.
And I know in moments like this, football can pale into insignificance, but Spurs are set to play again on Sunday. Do you think the game will go ahead, and do you think it should go ahead?
Do I think it will go ahead?
Well, Liverpool, the context being Liverpool yesterday had 3 positive cases. Although they played, they had Van Dijk, Fabinho, and Curtis Jones. So it remains to be seen whether there'll be more by Sunday. So what do you reckon?
I think we need. Do you know what? It needs to have a break, and the reason I say it needs to have a break, like we were saying, you may have been going up to Leicester, and other people going away now. Hopefully, if it's not broken, if it's not called off, I'm going to be going to Southampton with you. And I haven't been to an away game for ages, and I've been really looking forward to that. and obviously it's always a great occasion. But you look at at Christmas time as well, for fans to not know, should I travel, shall I not? Do I book a train ticket? Do I not? Am I getting up early? It's chaos. It's not fair. People keep looking at, or when I say people, the media talking about the money, the players, and they can play and all this. They're forgetting the fans. The Premier League are forgetting the fans, where it's people like season ticket holders and people that come, like the people that came from Dallas and my friends that came from Canada for the Burnley game. They travel all this distance just to have that. I mean, I was even saying yesterday on the stream, I can't remember which one, that I don't know how you feel, that they should do it that 24 hours before the game or the night, whatever, there's got to be like a cut-off time to say this game is going ahead or not. And then that's not leaving it up in the air. Now, obviously, I know if they say, yes, it's going ahead, there could be a few more COVID outbreaks during that night and it could get worse. But at least to say, right, as we speak right now, that game's going ahead. Not just, we don't know, we're waiting. No. They've got to find some kind of way to get a bit more clarity.
Well, I'm just reading now, according to the Times, the Premier League are thinking about the possibility of stopping games until January the 15th.
Oh, January the 15th.
I fly back 2 days before.
So that looks like it could be a possibility. Is that the right thing? That's like a whole month.
Oh.
Do you know what? Christmas, it's just not the same without football. It's not the same. I don't care. We've grown up with it all our lives and we're accustomed to it. But if this is what they need to do, because all that happens, listen, I was saying as well yesterday, I think the whole world needs to go into another lockdown for like 4 or 5. And when I say a whole lockdown, I mean 4 or 5 months where no one leaves their countries, no one comes into their countries, so these people can try and get the vaccines or do what they got to do to stop this. Because as soon as borders open, someone goes and there's a variant and it keeps going. I think, as much as it hates me to say, because I'd hate to have another lockdown, they need to start thinking about people now, because obviously it's flared up in football and it's getting the media spotlight, but this can't keep happening. It's kind of like, do you know, the way I did it is, like when you have a player who comes back, you rush him back from injury because you need him, and it's like, do you risk it? But then they could get another injury and it's long term. That's basically what we're doing with people's lives here. It's like we're rushing to get it back in so the Premier League makes its money, but then it comes and another variant comes in and it woofs up again, and then they just need to organise this and sort it, in my opinion.
In terms of, we were having a discussion earlier on the stream, what would you prefer, the 3 games in hand, or would you prefer 4 points on the board like Arsenal?
Oh, when you say 4 points, see, as they say, especially when you're trying to qualify for Europe, you'd rather the points on the board rather than have the games in hand, because points are points. These 3 games in hand, what would they be? So we've got Brighton
away, Burnley away, and Leicester away.
And it could be 4 with Liverpool. So Brighton, okay, with those 3 games not including Liverpool, Brighton was home. Brighton was the only home one, wasn't it? No, sorry,
all 3 away. All three away.
Okay. Do you know what? I said, in my build-up, I said a draw at Brighton. I said we would beat... I think I said draw at Burnley as well, just because Burnley's a very hard place to go. But I said we'll beat Leicester. So I said 5 points. So if you said to me 5 points on the board or the 3 games in hand, I would take the 5 points.
It's funny that you say that. Sean also started off saying 5 points. By the end of the conversation, he was on 7 points.
Yeah, do you know what? I mean, theoretically, I'd want 7 points. I think 9's doable. 7 would be... But I was just saying that because at the time when we were talking about this, Burnley was coming up, and Burnley, for some reason, are always a hard game for us away.
Should be winning, though.
We should. Ultimately, these are games we should be winning, especially with what we were starting to build with Conte. Then you've got Brighton away, which, if you look at it, Brighton, we have a horrific away record. And then Leicester, I was money on Harry Kane scoring at least one against Leicester, because he always does, and that could have been the game that kicked him off. So yeah, I don't think 7 would be the ideal, but I think if you said to me now 5 points, I would have taken it.
All right, and last but not least, score prediction for Sunday, if it does go ahead.
Oh, Jesus, and Liverpool are bang on form. Do you know what? I'm going to go bold. And say 2-1 Tottenham.
All right, love that. Absolutely love that. Come on. Brian, looking forward to seeing you in this studio very, very, very soon.
Can't wait. Ben, you got my message about West Ham, didn't you?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, but as much as I'd love to go, my parents are about to go on holiday, and
I'm guessing that's the same for Liverpool as well, right?
Oh, Liverpool, I've got to take my 2-day test and get it done, so I don't even know if it'll be back in time anyway. So even if it was, I wouldn't be able to, with my mum saying this. But I said no to you because obviously I don't know how long this test is going to take to get back. But West Ham, no. Crystal Palace, hell yes. Southampton, hell yes. And any other game I can get, dependent. Obviously, all of this is dependent on Bob.
Yeah, and also dependent if the football's going ahead.
Yes, that would be. Oh, yeah. Let's just drive to Southampton for shits and giggles.
Well, it'll be a road trip either way. So.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we don't go, come round at mine, or we'll try and get a few people together and we'll do something together.
Okay, cool. Sounds
But
good.
I'll speak to you guys about that. But guys, once again, I just want to say to everyone in the community, everyone in the live chat, all of the YouTubers, everyone, just unbelievable what you're doing and the love you're showing for Bob and myself. I must admit, like, I needed some assistance with the ticket. It was all taken care of. These people know who they are. It's just a wonderful thing that the community we've got, and as I always say, it's created by you guys, because we all come from you guys.
All
right.
Nice one, Brian.
Brian,
Exactly.
we shall see you and speak to you very soon.
We will do.
But on that note, I think you should end off on a different note this time, and we should end off on a Bob Spur note. I think it's fitting for today.
Well, I was going to sing my "I'm Coming for You" song that I put on Twitter, but I'm here now, so I can't really say I'm coming. So
I'm here for you.
All I will say is, listen, Bob Spur, everyone who's met him, everyone who sees him in the chat, as I say, he's come into my life via you guys, and obviously we kind of met, seeing each other on streams here. Everyone that has actually made face-to-face contact with him and knows him knows what you see on the camera on YouTube is exactly what you see in the real person. And believe me when I say, my world is a much brighter place because that man is in it. And it's as simple as that. And like I said, I love that man to death. He is family to me. There is no two ways about it. And also that goes for Kim as well. Kim has been absolutely. You got to remember, Kim and him are a fairly new couple, and she's literally had to help him through that. Or didn't even get a chance to help him with the grief for his father because he got diagnosed with COVID and couldn't even be with him. But Kim has gone above and beyond to do everything possible. And you know what? The luck he's had, he deserves not a silver lining, not a gold lining, but a platinum lining. And believe me, Kim is that platinum lining. I've actually nicknamed her Mary Poppins because that's what she's been recently. She's been absolutely phenomenal.
All right, Brian.
Nice one, Brian. Thank you,
I
both.
love you
Thank you for the
and leave
update.
you. We shall see you very soon.
Very soon, guys. I cannot wait. And everyone in the chat, have a great weekend. Boys, I will speak to you very soon. And I've been talking about Bob, so I'm not going to say what I normally say. This is not the time, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. All right.
Nice one, Brian.
See you soon, Brian. Shalom, my friend. Super chat from Sean Butler. Big up, Sean, saying some petrol money for the trip to Milton Keynes, boys. Buy Bob Spur a bunch of grapes from me. Thank you very much, Sean.
Nice one, Sean. Thank you, man.
Let's keep going with the guests, and let's go to Mikey next. You all right, Mikey?
Yeah, hi guys. So I bought the membership and I'm here now.
Big up to you.
welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank you for joining the family. Much appreciated.
Yeah, so I haven't been I've been watching this stuff for long, but I don't really keep up with much of the personnel. So first time I'm hearing about this guy called Bob Spur, but I hope he's all good.
He's been calling to the channel for a while now, Bob. You might have seen him a few months ago. But he's not very well. He's got COVID right now, so we're just all hoping he pulls through. What's your opinion though on how the Premier League at the moment is shaping up? Do we need a circuit breaker? Do we need like a 2-month break, a 1-month break? Sorry, they're talking about suspending football until January the 15th. Or do you think they should continue to keep going case by case and just get as many games played as possible?
There's arguments to be had on both sides because COVID takes its incubation period is about 10 days. I think suspend the games for 2 weeks over the Christmas period and start back up in the new year, because January 15th, you need that period between the 1st and the 15th. Obviously, it depends on how we go against West Ham in the Cup, if we even play them in the Cup. But those week periods there are when you're going to want to fill up the schedule with the postponed games. So postponing it for a month gives less time for the games to be played again. If you're going to suspend it for like 2 weeks for 2 match weeks, and because that's how long COVID takes. And if you tell the players just be careful, like obviously don't mix at Christmas, the same rules that we had last year, even though last year I think a couple of our players broke those rules. Still, like, try not to mix up, and then come back like as January starts and restart with those New Year's Eve, New Year's Day games, and try and play our postponed matches, because we have more than, as a Tottenham fans have a different perspective because we've had the most games postponed. Other teams who haven't had, like Man United, have only had 1 or 2 games postponed, whereas we're sitting on 4 now in the Premier League, plus, well, if the Liverpool one gets suspended, we'll be sitting on 4 games suspended, plus the Europa Conference League, which is still up in the air. So we have more of a case to, as fans, we have more of a case to advocate for the season going ahead than most other teams would. So as a Spurs fan, it's a different perspective. But from a purely health perspective, it's clear to me that the season can't continue in the way it is, because you can't have irregularities with one match day having 4 games and another match day having 8, and it's not fair on, like, you look at the teams that are sitting on 17 games and look at the teams that are sitting on 14, it's not fair. And I mean, to be fair, just quickly, a lot's been made of Tottenham's poor start to the season, but the fact that we're 7th with 3 games in hand shows how bad other teams have been as well. So it's not just Tottenham. But,
well, actually, there's a bit of an update from the Evening Standard, and they're saying Premier League clubs are due to meet on Monday to discuss escalating the COVID crisis. Clubs are currently split over a circuit breaker before Boxing Day fixtures, with the majority of clubs in favour of continuing to play where possible. So that's so it looks like in terms of this weekend, unless Liverpool have more cases, it's probably going to go ahead. In terms of, they're not going to stop it Premier League wide, because the meeting's on Monday. But it says the majority of clubs in favour of continuing to play. So what do you think about that?
I think that's, like I said, it could be swayed either way. There are advocations both for and against that, but I think whichever decision comes out, it will be a good one. You can stop the season for the players' health, or you can keep going on a game-by-game basis. But the way the logistics of cancelling a game are obviously quite hard to do, and you've got to give a little bit of you've got to give the benefit of the doubt to the Premier League a little bit, because of how many games are going on, how many COVID cases, and it's kind of hard to keep up with what's going on. But at the same time, the way that they're telling us how the games are being postponed is not good, because the Leicester fans, the players were in the hotel, and it happened like an hour before. All the fans that had travelled up to watch Tottenham play at the King Power and all of that, they were told like an hour and a half to 2 hours, or like before, or was it night? It was, because there was reports that it was going to be postponed at like midday, but it didn't officially get postponed until like 3-4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a Spurs fan that travels to away games, I've never actually been to an away game because I haven't had the time or the money, but I'd love to go someday. And if you're a Tottenham fan who frequents away games, you're going to be sitting there thinking, well, like Brian said, or whoever it was said, do I buy tickets? Do I not? Do I try and travel? Do I not? And there was the guy from Dallas he mentioned, his friend from Canada. So there's a lot of factors to consider when postponing a game. And like I said, Tottenham fans have more of a case than most to continue the season, because we have the largest backlog of games, currently sitting on 4, could be 5. So I would say that whichever decision the Premier League makes, it will have its merits. But I would personally want to see the season continue, but have a more efficient way of telling people when the games are going to be cancelled.
Yeah, I guess have more planned ahead of time. Assuming the game on Sunday is set to go ahead, which it looks like at the moment. What are you expecting from the game on Sunday? It's going to be very, very difficult against a rampant Liverpool side, and especially considering we're probably not going to be our most physical best. But do you see a way of us picking up some points on Sunday?
If we have Jesus in goal, maybe. No. I think for us to pick up points against Liverpool, we haven't done it since 2017. Our record over the last 3-4 years is horrible. I think it's like 1 point picked up from our last 7 games. And obviously we had the Champions League final defeat, which for the first time in like a while, I went back and watched those highlights, and I finally realized that was never a penalty because it hit his armpit, not his arm. I always thought it hit his elbow area, but it didn't. It hit his armpit. So that was kind of jarring for me. But our record against Liverpool is absolutely abysmal. And I remember last year, I mentioned this on the Leicester match preview. I remember last year we went up to Anfield and we lost because of the Firmino 90th minute header. And we had 2-3 good chances. It's just unfortunate that they all fell to Steven Bergwijn. And he didn't put them away. It was Kane and Son were feeding him through. We got through Liverpool's defence. Obviously, that was when they had very little centre-back options. Now they've got, I think they'll probably play Matip and Konate, or if one of them picks up a COVID test, it'll be Joe Gomez coming in, who's no bad defender either. And obviously our COVID situation, hopefully the 2 players, Højbjerg and Skip, if they're given these extra 3 more days, they should, in theory, be back for the game. So I'm hoping that our midfield base can be good, and that we play our strongest back line minus obviously Christian Romero, who, if we had him, I'd be a little bit more optimistic about containing Mo Salah. But even with the combined efforts of Reguilon and Davis, I still see Mo Salah scoring 1 or 2 and breaking Vardy's record. Because the form he's on, it's been 15 games since he's got a goal or an assist, and you wouldn't put your money on Tottenham stopping that. So even
Did he not break it last night, or was that equaling it last night?
No,
I think he equaled it.
He equaled it. So even if 10 Liverpool players have an awful game, I think Mo Salah's brilliance alone will drag them to a win, because he's simply the best player in the world right now. And our defense is not renowned for being solid. I know we've kept like clean sheets in a row, but they haven't been against world-class opposition like Mo Salah, Sadio Mane and Diogo Jota. So it'll be interesting to see. I still think Liverpool will win. I think we can score, because without the presence of Van Dijk, Liverpool are always going to be a bit more open at the back. I think we can score, but it'll be a 2-3-1, probably the same scoreline last time they came to the Spurs Stadium. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 to Liverpool, just because I can see Mo Salah scoring 1 or 2 against us. I mean, his record against Tottenham is superb anyway, so I can't.
Even without dodgy penalties, it's brilliant against us. But Mikey, thank you so much for coming on today, my friend, and we shall see you soon.
Goodbye.
Nice one, Mikey. Nice to see you, my friend. Quick quote here by Jurgen Klopp in regards to the game on Sunday. He says, "We have no information about Tottenham. I have no idea if they have trained today. We don't think the game shouldn't be played on Sunday, and we would like to play." So he wants the game to go ahead. It sounds like they're pushing for it. It's very different to, for example, Brendan Rodgers, who was very openly saying he wanted the game called off before the game. Klopp is saying... Yeah, but Klopp is saying at the moment they want the game to go ahead. So as long as they want the game to go ahead, I think it probably will.
We'll go ahead this game. I'm fairly confident that this game will go ahead. But let's bring on the Jorical. Jory, how's it going, man?
All right, I guess. How did the Leicester game go?
Still unbeaten in December.
Still unbeaten.
Yeah, haven't lost in a while.
Yet to lose a game in the Premier League.
Exactly.
As far as I remember, I predicted a clean sheet, so that.
You got it spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on.
When was the last time we conceded a goal? It's been a while.
But if we keep going like this, we'll keep it clean for a very long time, I think. I just want to start off with giving my best wishes to Bob Spur. I think I'm actually a little bit shocked. I hadn't heard this kind of the worsening of his situation. I basically, when I was starting my film job, I just heard that he had contracted it, and then I guess I missed out on the rest of the story. So I'm a bit shocked to hear this, but we're all praying for you, Bob. So you just pulled through it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
definitely
Jory.
true. Yeah, 100%. But Jory, moving on to the game this weekend. First of all, do you think it should be played? And second of all, do you think that there should be a circuit break within the Premier League?
No to the circuit break. I do think it should be played. I mean, you've already touched on. We don't want this to become a COVID show. It's basically causing all kinds of nasty arguments all over the place. But I think in general, the whole approach needs to be revisited. It's 2 years on now, and we're back at square one all the time. So that's kind of my view. And to be honest, what I've read about Omicron now, which I think is the super spreader, especially in the UK, its symptoms is kind of like a common cold. So, I mean, I hope this. I'm not an expert, but I actually read quite a bit about it because I travel so much. So, if that's the common cold variant that we really were maybe expecting, then I think actually it could be a good thing, because that's going to be an actual vaccine for all of us, and we'll get the herd immunity, and hopefully we can then protect exactly the vulnerable, like Bob Spur and so on. So I at least when it comes to now, here and now, I don't see the argument, apart from, of course, when teams can't be mounted like us with Rennes and so on. Then I would hope they try and just cancel the games that won't be able to be played, and then just get them in there during the season, or maybe even extend the season a little bit. But I think it would be terrible to break the whole season right now. So.
But Jory, what should the decision making process be? Because we can't have fans travelling all the way down to the other side of the country and for it be cancelled an hour before kickoff. So what should the decision making process be?
I mean, I think it should be kind of like our situation in the Conference League, which is kind of like at some point you're committed, and if you can't really then mount your team after that point, then you need to forfeit. I think even though I'm not a fan of that, and I don't really see that being necessary for other than a very few clubs. I mean, most of these clubs at least have a junior team that they can take players from. So. But I think
does it not ruin the integrity of the sport a bit if one team gets to play against Villa under 23s and the other team and someone else gets to play against their full team?
Yes, you can say that, but we've had so many things, and really it's kind of like the luck of the draw. There's not one. It's not. Well, I guess you could say it favors the big clubs a little bit more than the smaller clubs. But on the other side, the big clubs have more staff, have more people, they're more exposed, they're more likely than bigger centers and so on. So really, when you go into the details of it, it really becomes almost impossible to kind of define who would have a competitive edge from that. Of course, in general, organizations with many resources to pull from, in general, they'll be stronger off. In crisis, of course, yes. But this crisis, for so many reasons, is at least not going anywhere in the next couple of months, and once again, I don't want to be political, but I've for a long time wanted a different approach with this. I wanted more protection, more early treatment of the actual vulnerable, and I think it's actually imperative that those of us who have strong immunity, that we actually get the herd immunity up and going, because these vaccines, they ain't doing it. So hopefully they will protect exactly the people that have the vaccines. Myself, I'm not vaccinated because I have a condition that I can't receive these vaccines. So, and I've been doing other stuff, and I counted it, and I've actually been to 8 countries and had 30 flights since COVID started. And so I'm quite convinced that my measures that I've been taking, which is very high doses of vitamin D and zinc, which my doctor has ordered me to do, have actually a positive effect. Either that, or I'm
You're
one of
Superman,
the lucky,
Jory. You're Superman.
yeah, something like that. It's either that, yeah. So I won't speculate more to that. But in general, I just think that whatever we can do to keep society, like I don't know about UK, but like our suicide numbers are through the roof here in Iceland. I think that's everywhere. We need to at any possible cost try and keep normality going, especially over these holidays. This is going to be very detrimental to people's mental health if everything shuts down again. So
especially, I agree with you, over Christmas. It definitely will be. Assuming the game, according to Jurgen Klopp, he says he wants the game on Sunday to go ahead. He says that they've had 3 cases, but they want the game to go ahead. So different to how Brendan Rodgers was saying he wanted the game to be cancelled before we played them. So assuming the game does go ahead, do you see any way we can get points out of this Liverpool side, considering the physical condition and our situation as well? How difficult do you envisage it being?
It's always going to be difficult for sure, but I would think, like, I'm trying to put my head in Conte's space all the time now, and I would actually think that Conte looks at this current situation and also having the 3 games in hand as a great opportunity for us now. So I think Conte will be doing everything to try and get points out of this game now, and also out of the 3 games in hand, because this is one opportunity that a guy like Conte won't let go. We have kind of the we know what we need to catch up to, basically, and we can do it if we put our minds to it, I'm sure. But I think what we're gonna see from Conte is probably we're gonna be soaking up pressure a lot. I was watching the game yesterday, and to be honest, they were brilliant and all that, but their defense there was a lot of holes in their defense. So I think Conte will definitely have a plan for taking advantage for that, and I think we will be playing with this kind of mid block, trying to keep their press, their high press also as happening as far up the pitch as possible. So once we keep our form and keep this high mid block, we're gonna let them run at us, and then we'll simply wait for their mistakes, which they made quite a few yesterday in defense, and we will punish them once again with Lucas and Sonny and other quick plays. Now I don't know the status of who's top form and not. I wouldn't be surprised that they would be in a lot better form than we could normally hope for. Just knowing what we've seen already and the form that Conte has gotten them into in such a short space. I mean, come on, guys. If Ben Davies can play 2 games like he just did, you got to start believing in miracles, right? This is Conte the magician, So I wouldn't want to rule it out that he will break this Liverpool curse that we seem to be having.
The problem I got with it, Jory, is that maybe on a normal day that you could have a case, but with our players all coming back from COVID, not knowing who's fit, not knowing all this kind of a lot of circumstances coming into this game, which makes me feel like it's just an uphill battle. And maybe if it was on a normal day and COVID didn't play a part, then maybe we could get some points out of this game. But Conte said in the last game against Leicester, the players that were coming back from COVID only had about 20-25 minutes in their legs. So how many do they have now?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to interpret that stuff, and also we have to remember we were at least able to assemble a team for Leicester. So now we've had even more time, and this actually Conte has had a really good period now for drilling them for this game. So completely uninterrupted, really, apart from the COVID stuff. Like I said, I agree with you, Ben, but for some reason I suspect that our levels are going to be higher than what we normally would be able to wish for. And I would say that we are coming up from our COVID stuff, and maybe Liverpool are going down. Maybe they'll lose another player before we get there. Another key player. Not that I'm wishing any such thing, but you could make also a case for that they now have to kind of be more like kind of break down their training programs and so on, and compartmentalize and so on, so they will be going into what we're just coming out of. So you never know, but in general I'm just trying to take the trying to get my head around thinking like Conte, and in that, well, my flow never stops. So
All right, we're back. All right, sorry about that, guys. Jory, we cut you off there for a second, but yeah, do you want to just carry on with what you were saying?
Yeah, so your question was basically, in normal circumstances, this might be the case, and to my the gist of my answer is basically like, maybe we don't know anything. So once again, we're speculating. But what I would assume still is that we're coming out of this COVID situation, and maybe Liverpool are going into it. That is, they need to now isolate more and compartmentalize their training and so on, and have limitations around that because they're at a start of an outbreak. So not hopefully, but so in terms of our COVID outbreak being a weakness for us, we can't really know. Maybe actually we're coming in at a stronger point in terms of the COVID situation than Liverpool will be at once the game's up on Sunday, right? So, but I just think, like, Conte in general, he, like, having the chance to play Liverpool without these three players, these key players, and I would say especially without Van Dijk, if we play a high block or mid block, sorry, and they do their Liverpool thing and they don't have Van Dijk, I can definitely see us punishing them quite severely. I mean, we will get opportunities for sure. Will we be clinical enough? I don't know.
Well, what we do know, it's Conte's first proper test as Tottenham manager. Having said that, what is your score prediction for Sunday then?
So I guess since Leicester didn't happen, I'm just gonna move my score prediction to the next game. That's about the depth of my my predicting, basically. So no, I think we will have a lot of discipline. I think all our players will be super switched on. I think Conte will be screaming like never before, and we'll keep the clean sheet. And I think, it's likely going to be two of our fast players. So like a Lucas and a Son are going to score. So I'm going for 2-0.
I love that, Jory. Absolutely love that. I think that everyone that's come on today have predicted a Spurs win.
Clean sheet as well. Everyone thought we'll concede. And last question before we leave you, we've been asking everyone, if you Arsenal currently 4 points ahead of us with 3 games played more. Obviously, we've got 3 games in hand: Leicester, Brighton, Burnley away. If you what position would you rather be in? Would you rather be in 4th with a 4-point difference, or would you rather be in 7th with 3 games in hand with 4 points behind 4th?
I would say in normal circumstances, I would take 6 points instead of the games. But now I just want the games. I I'm a complete believer. I can easily see us losing 2 of those games, but I can also see us going on a run now, because we've actually been struggling a lot with our squad, and we are now maybe seeing the start of them coming back, and we're being able, and Conte getting all his tools in the box. So yeah, I would want to have the games in hand for sure. I can see us winning all 3 games. I mean, I would say with a full squad and Conte there, I actually would want us. I would want us to win all 3 games. Normally, sure, I would probably take the deal, but there's no normal anymore. I think it's Conte normal, and Conte means being greedy and always want a 3-pointer. So,
Love that, Jory. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Have a good weekend, and I'm sure we'll speak to you on Sunday afternoon or evening.
keep up the great work, guys, and take care, Bob. Best wishes, in my prayers, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Thank you, Jory. Yeah, a lot of managers at the moment talking about integrity, not just in terms of, and clarity in terms of a lot of games being called off without much clarity as to how many cases have been and what the rules are, how many cases get a game called off, and Klopp's been calling for more clarity in the situation. He's worried that I guess he's worried people might be taking advantage of the situation to get games cancelled.
We know the Leicester game, Leicester
said COVID and illness.
COVID.
They were very vague about it.
So I think Leicester definitely, when they first tried to get the game called off, they were trying to take advantage of the situation. I think that's definitely for sure. We don't know what happened after. Obviously, they got more cases in the morning and what have you.
Do you think there needs to be more transparency?
Definitely. There has to be more transparency, and then there needs to be an actual rule. Like if you've got this number of cases, the game gets called off. I think there needs to be a set rule in terms of what happens, and there needs to be clarity from each club and from the officials as well.
Oh, I agree with you.
A few super chats here. Crocodoc saying, I feel that something can be gotten from Liverpool. If Shelby can score, then I'm sure we can score. I mean, that was an absolute worldie last night from Shelby.
Finish. Brilliant finish.
Craig 2084 saying, we'd have won the league by now if Dele, Lo Celso and Tanguy were as good as they were predicted to be. Sell them all. They offer absolutely nothing. It's harsh, but I think Lo Celso will come good. I believe he will. Ndombele, it all depends on his attitude, and Dele Alli, I think that's just like flogging a dead horse at the moment. Dele Alli probably needs to go sooner rather than later. And also we've got our brand new t-shirts, Sonny t-shirts, and the Italian Job t-shirts. Link is in the pin to the top of the chat if you want to go and have a look at them. They make for great Christmas presents. If you want to get your own t-shirt, just click the link in the top of the chat and you'll be taken to the website. But without further ado, let's get the last guest of the day on, and that is Brain.
I think a really good...
Yeah, try and stream back on first.
Argument at the moment. One is, do you think... into the chat today, copy the United Stand.
It's that guy again, isn't it? Ugh.
All right, you're back, Sin. You're alive.
All right, we're back.
We are back. All right.
All right, Brains. we're back. We're back live. Sorry about the lagging. We'll probably start again with you, Brains, because I think it was very, very choppy. That's it. Since you brought on. We didn't get through much, unfortunately. You were talking about how we should, the government should take a source of Jory's blood. That was good.
Make a super vaccine, yeah.
Exactly. That was good. Well, yes, we're asking about what people's opinions are on whether the Premier League should be stopped temporarily, or should we just keep going as it is and see how much football we can get played as possible with games getting postponed left, right, and centre? What's your take on the situation?
Take three, Brains. Take three. Let's go.
Take three. Here we go. Yeah, it's kind of like now it's kind of that critical point where you got like loads of teams have it and it's a proper crisis. Probably didn't have to get that way. I think if they had a bit of consistency in how soon, if a team has 5 cases or 6 cases, None of this. Oh, you can still put a team out. It's like, look, it's a contagious thing. It's going to get worse. So just shut their club down for a bit. You know, cancel one game. You know, like. But now it's kind of got to the point where, you know, players are, you know, multiple players in training sessions going in with COVID, and it's just it's too silly. So I think if they did catch the stuff early, as soon as you had, like, when Spurs had like 6 players out, you know, it's just like, it's ridiculous. Close the training ground down. It's the fact that they wait and then it gets worse and worse. They play games when, you know, when you could have players out in the pitch. Like, I firmly believe that Reggie had COVID during the Norwich game, you know. Maybe Ivan Toney, who in the game before, you know. So it's one of these things. It's like, so I think it's now kind of got to the point where it's like, yeah, they probably would, but I can also understand from the point of view of like the business side of it and how kind of crazy you can, not to say that I agree with it, but I can see how they're like so unwilling to you know, do a circuit break because of the deals with Amazon, how they get a full day over Christmas, you know, like all these deals go out the window. It's like, all right, well, give us those millions back, you know. So I can see that, but still, the product that they're offering right now, having a whole Saturday cancel games, it's not exactly fantastic. You know, there's a lot of companies who are going to be going, whoa, what's going on here? So yeah, so I think, yeah, it makes sense to have a little breaker. How I look at it from Spurs' point of view is, it's fucking good for us. We can get to January. Obviously, we want to see them play, but if we can get to January without playing any more games,
exactly.
Squad, bring in some big
players,
start again in the new year. Have Romero back. Conte spent loads of time getting his ideology in with the players. It could be that could be nice for us, but I think the Liverpool game will go ahead. You know, so you know, I see the positives in a break for sure.
But in terms, so you say the Liverpool game is going to go ahead, and I completely agree with that one. How do you see this game going? Is there any chance we can get anything from this game?
Yeah, so like I'm actually quite like hopeful in this one. You know, going into like games like Burnley and Norwich, for me it was like, we're not going to win these games. I just don't have any faith because we seem to shit the bed when it's games we should win. You know. Like, all we need is a winner. We're in the top 4. Then we shit the bed, you know. So, but coming into a game like this, I think Liverpool leak goals. They've done it all season. They've kind of been kind of iffy at times. They're incredible when they set their traps, and you know they pull you into places and then they hit you. Like, they're incredible. But I think Conte's bright enough and understands, with his wing backs and 3 at the back system, how to avoid that. How to do the mid block well, how to like maybe have the game, just take the game to them, do some pressing stuff on them. I think Trent is a real weakness for them going backwards. I think Reggie could have him. I think Reggie might be better at defending him than he is of defending Reggie. The other side of the pitch is another problem. I don't think we've got really any chance of doing anything against Robbo down that right hand side. You know, I think they're tight there, but I do think
I see you're on nickname terminology with him, are you?
He's my captain, so can't be too hard for Robbo. But yeah, no, I think there is places. I think especially if you don't do any silly things and give chances, like in Norwich, Pukki got that chance early on, and then a Liverpool player would have put that away easily. You know, Salah with that chance, we're 1-0 down, and so if we don't concede easy, silly chances where Dyer goes kind of wandering, or, you know, Lloris does a silly pass back, flippy thing up in the air. And you know, if we don't do silly things like that, you know, if Sanchez can stay on his feet, if he can learn to turn right and left, so, you know, simple things, you know, old Zoolander over there.
It might be too much to ask, Brains, I think.
It might be, yeah. But if we can just do simple things and like have like the kind of first half we had against Chelsea this season, you know, if we can get to half-time 0-0, then I think there is a good chance to get something out of the game, and I think getting something out of the game is a draw. But
yeah, 100%.
I'd be really happy with that.
I'd be delighted with a draw in this game, 100%.
Yeah.
But in terms of our team, like Conte was saying, a lot of our players on Thursday who were coming back from COVID only had 20 to 25 minutes in their legs. So do you see? Are we off again? Oh my God!
We're gonna have to turn this stream off. To be honest, it's just Oh, we're live again.
We're back.
Yeah.
That's all right.
All right, so I think we're back, guys. Apologies about that. I was about to ask you, on Thursday, Conte said a lot of the players who had COVID only had 20 to 25 minutes in their legs. Do you see any of them or a lot of them being more involved maybe in this game than they would have been on Thursday?
Yeah, give them at least. Yeah, I think some players can get to the 60-minute mark and then go off. So it's not an ideal situation, but you're supposed to have a squad of players that you can bring on. Like, as long as for me, the big deal is if Højbjerg and Winks, I almost said Winks and Højbjerg and Skip are able to kind of control things in the middle. That's where the whole key of the game is having the midfield, having the wing backs up and having that strong four just holding things down and tight, controlling the game there. I think if they're available, if you start looking at, we're going to have Tanguy and Winks in, I think that's where you start going, this is not doable, this game, So
yeah, and also
it's things like that.
Lucas and Son as well, who are so crucial, especially in this kind of game, to are able to spring on Liverpool and counter-attack. If they're not kind of available, I see it being very difficult for us to hurt them, right?
Yeah, it's still that thing of going into every game and hoping that Harry Kane gets a goal, but knowing that's slightly delusional because you just don't have really players who are going to do what he needs them to do for him, like the simple things of threading him through, and also his belief in just being able to make the right run and am I going to get that ball at the right time. So if you don't have Son and Lucas around him, Jesus, that's when it gets real difficult to see. Then you're talking about like this is just going to have to be a kind of masterclass in defending,
Yeah.
So how do you see the game going? What's the score prediction?
I think I think Conte can come up with a bit of a book on how to do it. I think Jari was kind of right with the mid block. I think you can get a 0-0 out of it, and who knows what happens later on in the game, because we've seen when you push Liverpool to later stages of the game, they start to panic and they start to snatch at chances. So later in the game, if it's 0-0, 5-10 minutes to go, who knows? Go for it at that point.
Very Mourinho.
So you
Very
might be able to get something out of it. But I think it's a 0-0, if I'm honest.
Okay, that'd be great. I'll take a 0-0.
I'll take a draw right now. I really would. But we've been asking. Have you asked him about the?
No, we've been asking everyone about what they'd prefer in terms of our league position. We're currently 4 points behind Arsenal, with 3 games in hand, with the games in hand being Leicester, Brighton, and Burnley away. What position would you rather be in? Would you rather have the points of the 4 points on the board and be in 4th, or would you rather be in 7th with the 3 games in hand?
No, I'd rather play the games like Jari. I think, especially with the time, Conte's had more time with the players, and if we could have players back. I mean, if you're talking about playing those games again in January, at the end of January, then I want the games, because I think that's a 9-point run.
Interesting.
I think we can get at least 7 points out of that. We should be getting 7 points, at least 5, but we should be getting 7 points out of that. And I think you can get 9. And that's not delusional. I think that is just a case of Conte, time with players, building the team, a fresh start. Harry Kane will have a lot to prove. The crazy thing for me is Harry Kane going to go half of a season with only 1 Prem goal? Is that the reality we're living in? So if it starts a new year and he's still here, if he's still here, then I think he'll have a lot to prove. Either that or he'll have just the entire world on his shoulders and it'll just crush him.
I agree.
So no, I
want
those games.
Okay,
Brains.
All right, nice one.
We shall speak to you
gonna
very
ask you guys
soon.
about-
Yeah, go on.
The t-shirts, what kind of size? Do they run small size wise, or are they kind of? It's a large,
Small,
quite big.
small, medium, large, and extra large. I can send you the sizing structure off air if you want me to.
Yeah, that'd be good, because I'm just on the site now. I was going to pick up a Son one and a WeAreTottenhamTV one. Do you have them?
Big up Brains.
Do you hold them?
Yeah, we've got
or
them
do you
here
get
in the
them
studio,
online?
so you can pick them up
cool.
or when you come in here on Sunday.
Nice. All right, nice one. Yeah, I'll do that.
All right.
Amazing.
Sweet.
Nice one, Brains. We
Live
shall
sale.
speak
Look
to
at
you
that.
soon.
Great
Yeah,
salesman we are.
everyone should get on that.
Love it,
Nice
Brains. Absolutely love it.
All right,
Good to
dude.
see you, my friend. And can't wait to get you in the
worries.
studio, mate. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, see you Sunday.
See you soon,
Okay,
mate.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Come on, Bob.
Come on,
Oh,
the Bob Spur.
yeah,
that
come
was
on,
the
the Bob
message from
Spur,
Brains. If you didn't catch that, but I think that draws the conclusion of the stream.
There was just one last super chat from FaZe Radfar. Said, break to the new year equals Conte's pre-season he missed. So is
Sorry?
that the one? Break in the new year.
Oh yeah. I saw that before, and I think, to be honest,
No,
when-
I mean, yeah,
if you don't
considering...
look at it very like selfishly, saying I want to watch football here now. I want to see my team week in week out. It'll probably do us the world of good.
Look, considering we've probably got over the worst of our COVID situation, if there is a circuit break to Jan 15th, then the team who benefits the most is Tottenham.
Yeah.
Probably. Considering we were the first team to have the COVID outbreak, we're probably over it. We've probably got all our players back and our training ground would be open. So
It's just the terms that we've got a world-class manager here, and then the squad needs to get to grips with his ideas.
Yeah, but there'll be no reason to not, like, literally have a pre-season. Like,
And if there is a
month.
circuit break, there's a transfer window still open January the 1st.
Yeah, why not?
So it'll be like a summer break for.
Because that's
for
a European
Conte.
transfer window, isn't it?
Yeah, so it'll be like a summer break for Conte, won't it? Because like he'll get a transfer window and he gets to look at his players very closely.
Yeah, because other clubs might have their training ground closed because of COVID, but we wouldn't because you've had that already and it's back
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
So there'll be no reason to literally do training every day and really get to grips with it. So, I mean, it would benefit Tottenham having a circuit break, but I just get the feeling they're not going to do it. If the majority of clubs are in favour of carrying on, they'll carry on.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be literally like vast majority of clubs want a break for it to push through. I think obviously Premier League want it to continue, so they're going to look at any excuse for it to continue, right?
Yeah.
And if majority of clubs are in favour of it, then I think it will continue.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is that for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. More content is coming your way. Next up is going to be the Premier League Spurspective. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.